University of Maryland, Baltimore is home to more than 5,000 employees working in many career fields and performing an endless array of roles and responsibilities.
I liken this profession to kind of like being the NBA or the NFL of science. You know, you're at a very top level and you're competing with a lot of people that are excellent in many categories. It is a rigorous training process, but if you are somebody that really wants to be the best and be able to do both scientific work in terms of being in the lab and then also seeing patients on the other side in the hospital, I think this is a perfect path for you. Hi, my name is Albert Zhou. I'm an MD PhD student at the University of Maryland School of Medicine at the University of Maryland, Baltimore. I'm part of the University of Maryland's Medical Scientist Training Program.
For the past 8 years, Albert has been a part of an elite training program within the University System of Maryland at the University of Maryland, Baltimore, called the Medical Scientist Training Program. Its mission is to train leaders in their chosen fields of research, develop new knowledge, and translate it to enhanced clinical practice. This ability to work both in lab developing treatments and directly care for patients is incredibly rare.
This allows you to be both kind of a doctor and a scientist. So they essentially call you a physician scientist. And there's a big need for a lot of these kind of individuals simply because we have a lot of diseases that we don't know much about. So being able to understand the science aspect in terms of the lab and then bringing it over to the hospital where you can actually see it applied to the patients, that is kind of what gives us our unique skill set. It's especially rewarding to know that the research you're doing in the lab has a direct application to patient care in the future.
And Albert hopes patient care in the future will include vaccinations to diseases that are currently unresolved, specifically malaria.
I've spent a big part of my time, a large part of my time, studying malaria, which is an infectious disease that predominantly affects young children in sub-Saharan Africa. I was really drawn to the malaria parasite because I just found it incredibly fascinating how, despite all of these recent advances in medicine, we still haven't thought of a good way of treating or, preventing diseases in young children. So a big part of this lab is to identify vaccine candidates, and that's kind of what we're focused on. I think one of the biggest rewards, especially being in the lab, is when you're developing an experiment, you have this plan that you kind of thought about for the last couple of days. And then when you actually execute it, whether it be on the computer or when you're pipetting and doing the actual experiment, to see it come to life, to see that band that you wanted on your gel to actually show up, or to see the malaria parasites that you've been culturing for the last couple of days to actually grow. I think those are the little wins that end up becoming the thing that keep driving you and motivating you to wake up the next day to do this all over again.
Albert's current daily routine is variable right now, meaning that each day differs. He can be found working in a traditional lab setting on some days and in a clinic environment on others, where he works directly with patients.
Have you gotten a recent COVID test? The best part about the path that I've taken is you kind of get a mix of all different things that you are interested in and what you want to do. A big part of being an MD PhD is the idea that you work in a university, you can mentor, teach students, the next generation of students. You can go and see patients in a hospital, and then you'll have your own lab at the university where you can return to kind of explore your curiosities and explore the science a little bit further.
It's that science that got him started on this path back in high school.
A big part of high school was, just kind of finding yourself and seeing what you really enjoy. And one of the big things I enjoyed was my math and science classes. But the big thing, I think, is that anybody choosing this path is making sure that you have a good mentorship system.
And fortunately, he was able to find that mentorship pathway within the University System of Maryland.
For my last 7 to 8 years that I've been a part of this institution, I have just been very, very pleased with everybody I've kind of worked with, all the people that I've kind of interacted with. And it's just such a warm place, and it really allowed me to kind of find myself and cultivate the passions that I really had. Thank you for joining me for a day in my life as an MD PhD student at the University of Maryland, Baltimore.